Lebanon has seen one of the most intense nights of Israeli attacks in weeks in southern Beirut. There was a strike next to the biggest government hospital in the country in which 4 people were killed, including a child. The Lebanese health ministry says 24 people were also wounded. Let's show you live pictures of the Lebanese capital Beirut. Columns of smoke have been filling the sky over previous hours. The IDF says it intends to strike the finances of Hezbollah. Hezbollah continues to fire rockets into northern Israel. The Israeli military also says it's identified a bunker concealed under another Beirut hospital that it says holds hundreds of millions of dollars worth cash and gold. Their spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said the money was being used to finance Hezbollah's attacks on Israel and provided these reconstructions, saying the bunker is located directly under the hospital in the heart of Beirut. No further evidence was provided, and the hospital's administration has denied the claims. Israel said it was monitoring the compound, but wouldn't strike the hospital itself. Here are some pictures from Israeli strikes overnight. This is Babda, a suburb of Beirut. Israel says it's hitting targets that are linked to Hezbollah. Our correspondent in Beirut, Jonathan Head, told me the strikes caused panic. There's been a second night of multiple strikes here in Beirut. I'm a bit confused using for people living here. There were warnings to 7 neighborhoods, and one of them are a small former fishing village. A little coastal community next to the international airport has not been targeted before, and nobody knows what the target there would be. So there's a lot of panic, people trying to get out. It's quite a poor neighborhood, and the airstrikes came in pretty quickly afterwards, 4 of them. And then that strike close to the biggest public hospital, Rafi Hariri University Hospital. It seems to have been Tara building. Next to it there's always a lot of people near the hospital. As you can imagine, there are also displaced people there, so quite high casualty counts. 4 people killed, one of them a child. You know, we've been told by the Israelis that they're now going after Hezbollah's financial infrastructure. We saw the night before attacks on branches of Hezbollah's Deo Bank, and we don't know whether last night some strikes were at a continuation of that or a move to in a different direction. As you said, there is that rather dramatic announcement that there's a secret bunker after another really big public hospital, Alalem, and we'll have to wait till our colleagues and other journalists come back from the tour of that hospital this morning to see whether they saw any evidence of that. Or I think at the end we're just going to end up with the hospital denying it and the Israelis insisting it's there. Everyone here is very nervous. At this stage it's very hard to calculate what the next Israeli targets will be, given how they've now widened their camp to try to dismantle Hezbollah's networks and its presence in society. Once you go beyond military into attacking the financial infrastructure, this is how Hezbollah has such influence. It's almost a shadow government here in Lebanon. It provides a lot of welfare to people, and of course Israel alleges all that money, which it says comes from Iran, also funds Hezbollah's military activities and attacks on northern Israel. And how sustained, Jonathan, have Hezbollah's attacks been on Israel coming the other way? Well, they're sustained in the sense that they're pretty much the same level almost every day, and Israel does appear to be able to intercept most of them. I know there've been explosions -1 in many parts of Israel this morning, so we haven't counted the number of rockets going across. Hezbollah has said it's targeted an Israeli naval base. Until now, in most cases, other Hezbollah attacks have not caused huge amounts of damage and are relatively light casual. But the fact that they're still firing rockets reminds the Israelis that their goal of completely destroying Hezbollah's military capabilities has not been achieved, which of course means that the Israeli campaign, which includes this a rather slow ground operation down near the border, that operation will continue. Well, just in the last few minutes we've heard from the Israeli Defense Minister Galon that Bank al-Hassan Bank has been added to a list of groups designated by Israel as terrorist organizations. So that is a branch, or that's the name of the bank. Many branches have been targeted. There are several in southern Beirut, according to Israel, and they claim that Hezbollah is financed through that bank. The designation is part of a wider campaign by Israel to target the economic resources of Hezbollah. But just in the last few minutes, Yoav Gallant, the defense minister, adding that bank to a list of groups designated by Israel as terrorist organizations, now the UN aid agency operating in Gaza, as the Israeli authorities are still preventing medicine and food from reaching people. Under siege in the north, footage shot in the aftermath of an attack by Israel at a refugee camp in Jabal shows a nurse running in panic between the dead and wounded at a school. Israel says its offensive is aimed at stopping Hamas from regrouping in northern Gaza. Our international editor Jeremy Bowen has seen the video, a warning. His report shows extremely graphic images. Palestinian first responders went to collect bodies in a lull in Israel's offensive in Jabalia and the rest of